Now, there is no doubt about it that ever since the assassination of Charlie Kirk on September 10th and the most recent No Kings protest on October 18th, just a couple of days ago, we have seen a lot of actors, actresses, writers, and directors really using their overall platform, using their following to really just push their anti-Trump messaging once again, and it's getting all so tiresome and exhausting for the majority of the general public that followed these actors over decades or in recent years, and they are beginning to walk away. In fact, they are beginning to actually just tune out and check out from even supporting these, actors and actresses' work when it comes to Hollywood, when it comes to their movies and television shows and more. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, we know that Robert De Niro recently went on a long-winded tirade about the No Kings protest, and this comes, of course, weeks after his Charlie Kirk-related comments and how that backfired on him and got him into a whole big mess. And now you have a lot of other actors, and those even in the media, beginning to call out Robert De Niro. One of the biggest ones of all is Bill Maher of Real Time with Bill Maher via HBO, calling out Robert De Niro, calling out a lot of other actors in Hollywood for contributing to the entire division within the United States. Now, we know one thing about all of this is that Robert De Niro has no shame. He doesn't really care about what he says. He only cares about consequences, right? And this is exactly why he only actually begins to fire back when studios take action against him. We talked about how he was fired and blacklisted in different cases. However, what's interesting here, though, has a lot more to do with Bill Maher going all out on Robert De Niro and really calling him out and exposing him for who he truly is, and how he's actually contributing to the entire situation that we see today in the U.S. Now, of course, with the Charlie Kirk assassination and the No Kings protest combined, there are a wide range of Hollywood celebrities politicizing their acting careers and only contributing the division in the United States further. Now, one major development going on now involves more to do with comedian and television show host Bill Maher, who recently decided to humiliate Robert De Niro after now just his most recent viral comments, but also after his comments about Charlie Kirk weeks ago. Maher delivered the following. What really just shocks me is that we have all these actors in, like Hollywood, using their following to just hate on Trump no matter what. And after I got the chance to meet President Trump in person, and then, of course, I can examine that. And what I actually will say is that what all these actors are saying about him, you begin to see through the BS. It's actors like Robert De Niro who aren't making things any better for this country. They are playing with fire right now, which is the division in our country that already exists to begin with, but their hateful comments are acting like gasoline. It's just making everything go out of control. And look, I met Trump, and it doesn't mean I'm going MAGA or anything like that or becoming a Trump supporter, but it made me realize that all of these actors and those that are part of Hollywood, many of them, not all, those like Robert De Niro are acting like complete fools, just idiots, if you will. They just don't get what they are doing or saying right now, and what they are doing is only causing more destruction to their Democratic Party. And shame on all of them, shame on those like Robert De Niro, because of course, you are part of the same group of actors that are making a mockery of Charlie Kirk's assassination and calling Trump or his supporters as a Nazi, or for example. It's all overhyped nonsense coming out of their mouths that I think many of those part of the Democrat Party, even within, of course, that, are now beginning to see through their BS. And look, like I said before, I met Trump and I realized that there are three different versions of Trump. There's the Trump on TV with his speeches, there's the Trump when he's on mainstream media doing interviews, and then there's the Trump that where someone like myself will only be able to see. It's people like Robert De Niro that will never know what Trump is actually like in person. If only they knew what he was like off the air. These actors like Robert De Niro spewing their garbage to millions of Americans, I think they would be ashamed calling them Nazis or things around those lines. It's disgraceful to see what Hollywood turned into and how you have many of these big names like Robert De Niro going on msnbc spouting such nonsense. It's sickening to see that. Now guys, let me just say one thing about this. Now, we all know that Bill Maher seemingly made a very big shift with how he presents himself on Real Time with Bill Maher. And we all know that for the longest time, Bill Maher has had varying, political views over time. And some people will say things like he's flip-flopping. Other people will say things like he's only acting like an opportunist. People have different, views of Bill Maher, that's for sure. But one thing I gotta give credit to Bill Maher for is that he is calling out Robert De Niro for acting like an insane individual and saying such crazy claims like members of Trump's administration are Nazis. And what he did recently on MSNBC, it's going viral, it's spreading like wildfire, it's going crazy right now, and a lot of people are calling out Robert De Niro. And Robert De Niro is dealing with a lot of flack right now. I would definitely say more so than the past couple of weeks with his Charlie Kirk related comments and the various comments that he actually displayed after Trump actually won the election, and even before Trump won the election back in 2024. So Trump, of course, is obviously getting under Robert De Niro's skin. There's no doubt about that. However, Bill Maher continues to say the following: "It's sickening to see that. I can't even fathom how fans of these longtime actors are comfortable with listening to the words coming out of their mouths like that. Like it really mind boggles me. Stay in your lane and pretend to be a mobster and act already. Stop acting like you are an important politician. Can we just get past all of this already?" And that's what I like about, a lot of other people calling out people like Robert De Niro, is that you really have to have a large group of people to just continue to call out the insanity and the nonsense and the lack of common sense coming from the minds of Robert De Niro, the minds of Tom Hanks, and other actors and actresses out there, and members of The View, for example, who are a part of the mainstream media. But what's interesting about this is that, yet again, the fact that you have Bill Maher really just openly calling out Robert De Niro, this would have never happened for sure 3 years ago, 4 years ago. There's no doubt about that. Things have truly changed over the past couple of years, especially since 2024. I mean, there's really no comparison. But we know one thing about this right now is that the fact that Robert De Niro is going on the rounds, going on MSNBC, going on different mainstream media platforms to spew such nonsense. And yes, we do know that more No Kings protests are actually in the works right now. They want to do more throughout the first quarter of 2026 to gear up toward the midterms, and they are pretty much placing all their eggs in one basket to win the midterms in 2026. And this is not the way for them. If anything, it's only hurting them, and it's only digging themselves into a deeper hole. It's people like Robert De Niro that's only making them look worse. And that's exactly why they're getting called out. That's exactly why a lot of people with common sense are calling them out. Thankfully, we have people like Bill Maher at this point calling out the nonsense. You have Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You have James Woods, Mel Gibson, Tim Allen. Tom Cruise even commented on how Hollywood should not be mixed up with politics and such. But we know one thing for sure is that Robert De Niro is not going to stop, regardless of the consequences coming his way. And, well, I think that really just goes to show you exactly how ruthless Robert De Niro really is. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.